Hi, I'm Tozen. Today I'm going to talk about the oil king Rockefeller. Rockefeller was born in 1839 in a small town on the banks of the Hudson River in New York State. His father was a businessman and his mother was a devout Christian. Influenced by his father, Rockefeller had a habit of keeping accounts since he was a child. He kept a ledger in which he recorded the work he did for the family and used it to demand payment from his father. Slowly, he had some savings. He lent it to local farmers to earn interest. After graduating from high school, Rockefeller decided not to go to college. He wanted to find a job. He visited all the local companies he wanted to work for, but many companies rejected him immediately when they saw him because no one wanted to hire a teenager. However, Rockefeller did not give up due to such difficulties. He still kept going to different companies for interviews. He attended companies' interviews 6 days a week. After 6 weeks of interviews, a company finally offered to hire him. This was a company engaged in the transportation of agricultural products. Here, he became a bookkeeper. Rockefeller cherished this job, and bookkeeping is also something he loved to do. The day he joined the company was September 26, 1855. Rockefeller celebrated this day as his second birthday because he worked hard. The boss admired him. Later, the boss arranged for him to pay the company's bills. Rockefeller was suitable for this new position. He would check the bills carefully before paying them. Rockefeller would not tolerate errors of a few cents because he worked hard and diligently. The boss took him more seriously. When he was 17, he was promoted to be the manager. At this time, his annual income was already higher than many employees who were older than him in the company. 2 years later, at the age of 19, he borrowed $1,000 from his father and he took out his savings. Later, he set up a company selling agricultural products with his friends. In the first year, the company made a fortune. The next year, profits doubled again. Soon after, oil was discovered in Pennsylvania. People who wanted to get rich overnight poured into the oil field. Rockefeller, who had a keen business sense, also came, but he did not invest in this new industry blindly. He watched carefully in the oil field for weeks. Rockefeller discovered that there would be big problems shortly because people exploited large amounts of oil in a very short period. The market supply exceeded demand. Crude oil prices plummeted. Initially, the price of a barrel of crude oil was $20. Later, it quickly fell to 10 cents a barrel. Many businessmen into the oil business went bankrupt. In 1861, the American Civil War broke out. Rockefeller borrowed a lot of money from banks. He bought a large amount of products that people needed during the war. Because of the war, the oil demand increased greatly. At this time, Rockefeller felt that it was time to enter the oil refining industry. Together with his friends, he founded an oil refining company, but their personalities did not get along. There were huge differences in decision making. They often quarreled, especially over shareholders' dividends. Eventually, Rockefeller bought all the shares from his friend. Afterward, Rockefeller managed the company independently. Although Rockefeller already mastered a lot of business knowledge at a young age, but he still read magazines every day to learn new knowledge. One morning, he was drinking coffee and reading a business magazine. He found an article. The author said, "In America today, the era of the small businessman was over. The future is the era of big companies." Rockefeller couldn't agree more with this idea. So he came to visit the author of this article. He hired him to join the company with a high salary. This new employee was smart. He told Rockefeller about the concept of trust that meant commercial monopoly. Under the guidance of trust, Rockefeller established a board of trustees in 1882. This organization was responsible for all oil company stocks. Rockefeller was elected chairman of the committee. After that, Rockefeller merged more than 40 companies step by step. He monopolized 80% of the U.S. oil refining industry and 90% of the oil pipeline business. The form of trust was also developing rapidly in other industries in the United States. Rockefeller pushed the United States into the era of monopoly. In 1885, Ohio, USA, a survey team discovered a large oil field. But there was a problem with oil here. The sulfide content in crude oil was too high. This oil had an unpleasant smell when burning, and it was harmful to the human body. The crude oil extracted here sold for only 15 cents per barrel. Few people bought it, so Rockefeller saw business opportunities in it. He wanted to invest in the oil fields here. To this end, he also invited an oil refining expert as technical support. Finally, the company bought the oil field. Rockefeller stored all the crude oil he produced. By 1888, the stock had reached 40 million barrels. At this time, oil refining experts hired by Rockefeller invented a technology. He refined kerosene, which the company could finally sell. After this, Rockefeller's oil company devoted all its energy into oil production and started mergers and acquisitions. Slowly, his company achieved a global oil monopoly. Rockefeller created an oil empire. This oil company changed its name many times. It was eventually determined to be the Mobil Oil Company. In 1996, Rockefeller was 57 years old. He retired from the oil company and enjoyed his retirement. After that, the company was managed by his son. In 1937, Rockefeller ended his glorious life at the age of 98. The Rockefeller family had also become the most famous family in the United States. It has a huge impact on the economy of the United States. It can be said that Rockefeller started from scratch, from a bookkeeper to a global oil hegemon. It must be said that it is a legendary story.